My name's Scarlett Thomas, and I thought I had my life all mapped out until a single notification tore it apart. I'm 34, a senior marketing manager at a tech firm in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I've spent years building a career from nothing but grit and late nights. Growing up, my dad fixed cars and my mom taught third grade, so I learned early that stability comes from hard work, not luck. Trust, though, that's harder to come by. I learned that when a family friend swindled my parents' small business, leaving us scraping by. Maybe that's why I've always been careful, checking every bank statement, budgeting every dime. So, when my phone buzzed in the middle of a client presentation one morning, showing a $95,000 charge, my world tilted. I was mid-sentence, laser pointer aimed at a slide about our new ad campaign, when the alert hit. My fingers froze, the red wobbling on the screen. "Scarlett, you okay?" Mason, my coworker and resident data nerd, whispered from across the conference table. I mumbled an excuse about a family emergency and slipped out, leaving him to cover for me. The clients didn't need to see my hands shaking as I checked the banking app. There it was, $95,000 drained from our joint account. Hotel bookings in Maui, first-class flights, a deposit for a private yacht tour, a luxury trip to Hawaii for 6, including my husband Liam's parents. My bonus, the one I hadn't even gotten yet, was gone. I called Liam, my heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. Straight to voicemail. Typical. "Everything good?" Mason poked his head out of the conference room, his brow creased. "Clients love the pitch, by the way." I forced a smile, brittle as cracked ice. "Just family stuff," I said, already pulling up the account details at my desk. The transactions laid it out like a neon sign. Liam had planned this behind my back, using money we didn't have. My phone buzzed again. Liam, finally. "Hey, babe," he said, smooth as ever. "You're probably wondering about the charges." "Wondering?" I hissed, keeping my voice low so the open plan office wouldn't hear. $95,000, Liam? Without a word to me. His laugh was casual, like he was explaining a grocery run. "It's an investment in us. Mom and Dad haven't had a real vacation in years, and your parents could use a break too. I got a killer deal, trust me." Trust him? The words burned like acid. With what money? "You haven't worked steadily in months." He didn't miss a beat. "Picked up some consulting gigs, and your bonus is coming, right?" I wanted it to be a surprise. "You're always saying we need more family time." I stared at my reflection in the office window, wondering how I'd missed the cracks in his charm. My bonus, money I'd earned through sleepless nights and relentless hustle, wasn't even in my account yet. "Cancel it," I said, my voice low and hard. "All of it. Now." He chuckled, like I was being dramatic. "Non refundable, leave. But you'll love it when we're there. Trust me." Trust. That word again. I laughed, sharp and bitter, and it didn't sound like me. "Trust you? Like I trusted you with our savings? Or when you said you were job hunting?" His tone shifted, just a fraction. "You're blowing this out of proportion. Mom and Dad are coming over tonight to celebrate. They're bringing that pecan pie you like." I ended the call, my pulse roaring in my ears. Celebrate? He'd planned a dinner to parade his surprise while our mortgage, my student loan payments, and our utility bills loomed like storm clouds. A text popped up from his mom. "So excited about Hawaii, Scarlett. Liam says you've been planning this forever. You're such a sweetheart." My fingers froze over the reply. What could I say? That her son had gutted our finances? That I had no idea about any of this? Another text from Liam. "Don't tell Mom and Dad yet. Let's talk tonight." I opened the banking app again, scrolling through months of small withdrawals I'd ignored, transfers to accounts I didn't know. A pattern, slithering into view, like a snake in the grass. Mason tapped my cubicle wall. "Exec meeting in 10. You in?" I nodded, my mind already racing. Liam thought he could play me like a pawn in his game. He was about to learn I wasn't just playing along anymore. The pecan pie sat on our dining table, its sugary crust mocking the chaos brewing inside me. Liam's parents, Carol and Jim, were all smiles, chatting about Hawaii like it was a done deal. Carol's eyes sparkled as she described snorkeling in Maui, her hand brushing mine. You and Liam are so thoughtful, Scarlett. Planning this trip for us all. I gripped my wine glass, the bitterness of the Merlot grounding me. Liam's hand rested on my knee under the table, a silent warning. I slid my leg away, my skin crawling at his touch. Actually, I said, setting my glass down with a clink that cut through their chatter, I didn't plan anything. The room went still. Carol's fork hovered midair, and Jim's engineer brain seemed to shift gears, his eyes narrowing. Liam jumped in, his voice smooth as silk. Lev's been swamped at work, Mom. Maybe we should talk about something else. I laughed, sharp enough to make him flinch. Swamped? Is that what we're calling it, Liam? Or should we talk about how you emptied our savings for this trip? Carol gasped, her fork clattering to her plate. Liam, what's she talking about? He forced a smile, but it was strained, like a rubber band stretched too tight. Just some cash flow hiccups, Mom. It's all covered. Covered? I pulled out my phone, the banking app already open. Show them, Liam. Show them how it's covered. Or should I? I turned the screen toward them, the $95,000 in charges glaring like a spotlight. Jim leaned forward, his jaw tight. Son, what's going on? Nothing, Liam said, but his voice cracked. Scarlett's just being dramatic. Dramatic? I turned to him, my anger a living thing now. Dramatic about you moving money behind my back? About credit card charges I never approved? Or about you telling your parents I was in on this? Carol's face paled. Liam, did you do this without Scarlett? He squirmed, that charming mask slipping. It's not like that, Mom. I wanted to do something nice for everyone, make up for, things being tight. Tight. Jim's voice was low, dangerous. What else have you done? I watched Liam scramble, his eyes darting like a cornered animal. The same look he'd had when he quit his last job without telling me, or when he borrowed from our wedding fund for a sure-thing investment. I stood, my chair scraping the floor. There's nothing to make up for because this trip isn't happening. I'm calling the credit card company tomorrow to dispute every charge. Liam grabbed my wrist, his grip tight. You can't do that, Liv. I promised everyone. Let go, I said, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. Jim stood too, his presence like a storm cloud. Liam, take your hand off your wife. The pressure eased, and I stepped back, grabbing a stack of bank statements I'd printed that afternoon. Here, I said, dropping them on the table. Since we're all sharing, take a look at what your son's been doing for months. Carol's hands shook as she picked up the papers, Jim scanning them with surgical precision. Jesus, Liam, he muttered. What have you done? It's not what it looks like, Liam stammered, but the confidence was gone, his voice small. Really? I said, pulling up another transaction on my phone. Should we call the bank about these transfers to accounts I've never heard of? Or the job you told everyone you had last month? The silence was suffocating. Carol's eyes brimmed with tears. Jim's face was stone. And Liam, he looked like a stranger, shrinking under the weight of his own lies. I think, Jim said, standing, we should go. They left without touching the pie, and I stood at the window, watching their car disappear. Liam's voice came from behind me, quiet and bitter. You've ruined everything, Liv. I turned, something cold settling in my gut.
No, Liam.
I'm just getting started. Mason's desk was a war zone of documents, each one a new piece of Liam's betrayal laid bare. My hands shook as I pointed to a pattern of withdrawals, always just under $10,000 to avoid bank alerts. Look at this, I said, my voice tight. He's been siphoning money for months. Mason, ever the data geek, whistled low. And you said he worked at Apex Innovations for 8 months? I nodded, pulling up an email from their HR department. Accounts receivable. Same department that reported missing payments last year. The office felt too small, the hum of computers too loud against the chaos in my head. My phone buzzed, Carol, again. Please, Scarlett, we need to talk about Liam. I ignored it, like I'd ignored her last 5 messages. Mason handed me another stack of papers from Liam's desk, Found late last night while he slept. Loan applications, he said, his face grim. All in your name. My stomach dropped. 3 banks, 2 rejected, 1 approved for $50,000. He forged my signature. I whispered, the words like ash. The loan officer said Liam was convincing about why I couldn't show up. Said I was on a business trip. Mia burst into Mason's office, her laptop clutched tight. You need to see this. She pulled up a local news site, the headline like a punch. Apex Innovations reports financial discrepancies. Former employee investigated. It doesn't name Liam, Mia said, but the dates line up. My phone buzzed again. Liam, stop spreading lies about me. We need to talk. I laughed, bitter and low. He doesn't know we're onto him yet, I said, more to myself than them. Mason leaned forward. Scarlett, this is bigger than credit card fraud. You need to go to the police. No, I snapped, surprising myself.
Not yet.
He needs to feel it first. The walls closing in, the lies unraveling. Mia touched my arm, her eyes worried. That's not you talking, Liv. That's anger. I met her gaze, my resolve hardening. Maybe it's time it was me. I gathered the documents, my movements sharp. He said last night, I should be grateful he's giving me the life I deserve. Grateful. My phone kept buzzing. Jim now. Son, come home. We can fix this. They still thought they could save him, just like I had for too long. Mason and Mia exchanged a look, but I was already moving. I've frozen our accounts, I said. His cards won't work by now. As if on cue, my phone lit up with Liam's name. I let it ring, picturing him panicking at a gas station or a coffee shop, his world starting to crack.
Mia stepped closer.
And then what, Liv? You expose him, and then what? I looked at the papers, each one a betrayal, each number a lie. Then I take my life back. Another buzz, a text from an unknown number. Mrs. Thomas, this is Detective Alvarez from Raleigh PD's Financial Crimes Unit. We need to discuss irregularities at Apex Innovations. Mason and Mia watched me, waiting. I typed back. I'll be there in an hour. I have evidence. I grabbed my briefcase, the weight of it grounding me. Liam taught me something, I said, pausing at the door. About how easy it is to hide behind a smile. But I'm done hiding. As I left, I heard Mason murmur to Mia, she's not the same Scarlett. Maybe they were right. Maybe justice and revenge were starting to look a lot alike. Detective Alvarez's office was stark, all beige walls and fluorescent lights, but it felt like a safe haven compared to the storm outside. I slid a stack of documents across her desk, bank statements, forged loans, Apex Innovations HR emails. This is Liam, I said, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. Everything he's done. Alvarez scanned the papers, her expression unreadable. Then she pulled out a marriage certificate, not mine. Liam's name, next to Rachel Morgan's, dated 3 years ago, while we were married. Bigamy, she said softly. Among other things. The room spun. My phone buzzed. Rachel. I'm Liam's other wife. We need to talk. I stared at the words, reality fracturing. Another message from Mia. Liam's at the office, looking for you. He's pissed. Alvarez watched me. We can protect you, but we need your full cooperation. I stood, legs steadier than they should have been. I need to do something first. Outside, Raleigh's humid air hit me like a wall. I called Mason. Is it ready? He hesitated. Liv, maybe we should wait. Is it ready? A pause.
Yes.
One email, and it goes to everyone, his parents, Apex, every victim we've found. I met Rachel at a downtown Raleigh cafe, the air thick with espresso and tension. She was tall, blonde, confident, nothing like me, yet we shared the same wound. He said he was always traveling for work, she said, stirring her untouched latte. I thought he was building our future. We spread our evidence across the table, bank statements, fake IDs, records of Liam's consulting scams. 3 years, I said, my voice tight. We overlapped for 3 years. Rachel pulled out more documents, her hands steady. There's more. Different names, same handwriting. He's been at this since before us. The cafe door chimed.
Miarash din Breathless.
Liv, he's here. Parking lot. My heart raced, but Rachel grabbed my wrist. Let him come. Alvarez is outside. We'd planned this, a trap to make Liam face us both. When he walked in, his smile faltered, eyes darting from me to Rachel. Liv, he started, then saw her. His face went white. Sit down, Liam, Rachel said, her voice like steel. We know everything, I added, turning my laptop to show the evidence. Every account, every lie. I can explain, he stammered, but his charm was gone, replaced by panic. Like you explained the Hawaii trip? I said. Or the fake jobs. Or her. I nodded at Rachel. He sank into a chair, gaze flickering to the exit. You don't understand. I did it for us. Rachel cut him off. Don't. Not for us. Through the window, I saw Alvarez's team move in. Liam saw it too. How long have you two been working together? He asked, voice low. Long enough, I said, but my throat tightened. Part of me still wanted an explanation that could make sense of the past 5 years. Alvarez walked in. Mr. Clark, we need to talk about Apex Innovations. As they led him away, Rachel touched my arm. You okay? I nodded, but it was a lie. The man I'd loved was a fiction, and I was still unraveling who I'd become to survive him. In court, Liam tried one last play. Scarlett knew everything, he told the judge, his voice smooth as ever. She managed our finances, suggested the investments. The courtroom buzzed, eyes on me. My company stock had tanked 10% after a news headline tied me to his schemes. My phone buzzed, my CEO. We need to talk about your role. Rachel whispered, he's dragging you down with him. Alvarez showed me forged emails and signatures in my name, Liam's backup plan. We know you're innocent, she said, but clearing your name will take time. I looked at Liam, his eyes pleading for a moment, and saw the man who'd once promised me forever. Now, he was betting on my silence to save himself. The prison visiting room was cold, the kind of sterile chill that seeps into your bones. Liam sat across from me in his orange jumpsuit, looking smaller than the man who'd once filled my life with promises. Alvarez watched from behind a two-way mirror as I slid a document across the table, a lease for an office in Durham, not a storage unit, but the heart of Liam's schemes. This is where you kept it all, isn't it? I said, watching his fingers twitch. The real records, the fake IDs. His eyes widened, recognizing the address. Rachel found it. I continued. Her real estate background came in handy. She knew your pattern, always cash, always small offices. Liam leaned back, his mask cracking. What do you want, Liv? The truth, I said, harder than I meant. For once. He glanced at the mirror, then sighed. It started small, borrowing from one account to cover another. Then I realized how easy it was. People trusted me. His voice broke. You trusted me. I pulled out another document, a hospital record for his sister, Lily. Lauren told me about her. The medical bills your parents couldn't pay. That's why you started, isn't it? His jaw tightened. Don't talk about Lily. But you couldn't stop, I said. Even after she died. It wasn't about the money anymore, was it? He slammed his hands on the table, the guards stepping forward. I waved him off. Here's the deal, I said, voice low. Sign a full confession about the fraud, about framing me, or we release everything from that office, including what you did with Lily's insurance money. His face went gray. You wouldn't. The Liam I married wouldn't have believed I could. But you don't know me anymore. He stared, then took the pen Alvarez slid across.
Iluve you, leave.
In my way. That's what makes it worse, I said, watching him sign. As Alvarez collected the papers, I stood. You face everything now, and I stopped letting your lies define me. Outside, Rachel and Lauren waited, survivors of the same storm. Is it done? Rachel asked. I nodded, feeling lighter than I had in years. It's done. We drove to the house where Lily had lived, a small Raleigh bungalow frozen in time. Inside, we found boxes, not of fraud, but of good deeds. Medical bills paid for strangers, college funds in Lily's name, anonymous donations to hospitals. Liam had used his stolen money to save others, a twisted echo of his sister's loss. A letter in his handwriting fell out. I couldn't save Lily, but I could save them. Rachel's eyes softened. He wasn't evil, just broken. Carol and Jim arrived, clutching Lily's old insurance denials. He told us everything, Carol said, voice thin. About Lily, about after. We showed them the boxes, the lives Liam had touched, however wrongly. He wasn't a monster, I said, surprising myself. Just lost. At Liam's sentencing, he faced us, Rachel, Lauren, me, his parents, and said, I'm sorry. Not for helping them, but for hurting you. The judge gave him 12 years. As they led him away, his eyes met mine. Not the con man, but the brother who'd watched his sister die and broken himself trying to fix it. We formed the Lily Thomas Foundation, using Rachel's real estate savvy, Lauren's legal expertise, and my marketing skills to help families with medical debt the right way. At our first meeting, a family Liam had helped reached out, offering to volunteer. Revenge, I realized, wasn't about tearing Liam down. It was about building something better from his wreckage. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with me through betrayal, rage, and redemption. If my story hit you, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every life we save through the foundation tells a story of healing, hope, and starting over. Keep fighting for your truth, and I'll see you at the next chapter.